Hello there. Welcome to the Coactive webinar. Today we are going to dive into exploring the path to coaching success. Thanks for joining us and being on time. Look at you guys go. Look at all these people. I'm so excited. My name is Emily Peterson. I'll be leading the webinar today. We'll give it a few minutes to kind of get people situated, let everybody log in. A huge shout out to the team that we've got here working to make this a success today. We've got Mercedes behind the scene who will be running the Q&A and the chat. More on both of those here in a moment. We've also got Edwin and Jeff who are going to be leading some coactive magic here in a few minutes. You guys want to introduce yourselves? Come on, let's
Sure.
go
I'm
for it.
Edwin Vega calling in from San Diego. Really excited to be here today.
Hey
Thank you.
folks, Jeff Jacobson, a little farther north up in Portland, Oregon. Can't wait to talk about everything coaching today and also give you a chance to see what it feels like.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. If you want to head off camera for a minute, refill your coffee, by all means, feel free, but don't go far. All right. Thanks so much. So again, I'm Emily. I am on the customer success team here at Coactive, and I'll be leading today's webinar. Thank you all for joining us. I would love, as we're getting situated and settling in, if you don't mind dropping in the chat, I would love a couple pieces of information from you. Where are you calling in from today? Where are you joining us from? And then also, what's your favorite beverage? I'm trying a new coffee today, and I'm pretty excited about it. So I'd love to hear what you've got with you or what you wish you had with you. Germany. Wow, awesome. Oh. Very cool. I'm in the Midwest, so the company is based out of California, but I am sitting right on the Illinois and Iowa border on the Illinois side, which I like to joke is the good side. Sorry if anybody's from Iowa. Thank you so much. Thanks for dropping all that cool info in the chat. I love seeing where you're from. We are such a global community here at Coactive, and I love supporting that. Nice. Oh, I'm new to the like electrolyte drinks. I'm new to that game, so thank you. If you have a brand you love, drop it in the chat. Let me know. Awesome. Cool. Well, so before we get rolling here today, officially, I would love to know a little bit more information on what brings you to our webinar today. So I'm going to launch a poll question. Let's get that up here on the screen. Excellent. Hopefully you can see that. Go ahead and select your choice. I'd love to know if you are considering a career change, if your employer has sent you here, if maybe you're already coaching, but you're looking to add a certification. I would love to know your main goal of being here today. So we'll give people a moment to answer that. I mentioned a few minutes ago that you're going to get to see a little bit of coactive magic in action today. So if you think you might want to be coached, we are going to need a volunteer in a few minutes. So not quite yet, but if you want to start hyping yourself up for that opportunity, we would love it. Excellent. Okay. Wow. So about almost half say hoping to become a professional coach. That's cool. Love it. Wanting to add to professional skills and abilities, exploring career changes. Okay, cool. I'll give it just another second or two in case anybody else wants to hit that button, and then we'll go ahead and end our poll. Oh, I already see we've got one in the chat that says they'd volunteer if needed. Hold that thought, Mina. I'm so hyped for that. I love when people volunteer. Okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll now. We'll pull that down and share the results with everyone for a moment so you can see who you are here with today. While we do that, I want to run through a couple quick functionalities. If you don't mind, use the chat feature for just comments along the way. But if you could hold those questions for the Q&A feature at the bottom center of your screen, I'd really appreciate it. That helps us keep them organized. And we will try to set aside about 10 minutes or so at the end of the webinar today to go over any questions that we find there. Additionally, near the bottom center of your screen, you've got the opportunity for closed captioning. So if that is of interest to you, go ahead and click that button. All right, cool. Let's dive in then. and take a look at some information on just coaching in general. So these may be things, if you've been looking into a coaching program, maybe you know some of this data already, but the coaching industry, so the personal life coaching segment, is projected to surpass $10 billion globally in the next 10 years. This is showing steady adoption across a variety of demographics and geographies. So worldwide, we're seeing an increase in coaching. But then if you look at the center of your screen, you'll see that those specialty segments are growing even faster. So things like relationship coaching, financial coaching, health and wellness coaching, adolescent coaching is one that I've heard about on a lot of my calls recently. Those are anticipated to grow in double digit segment, or I'm sorry, those segments are anticipated to grow by double digits year over year in the coming years. So we're seeing a lot of that specialization. And then lastly, on the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see that executive coaching is just exploding right now. Companies understand that they can leverage executive coaching as part of their strategy, their growth strategy, their leadership development. And we know that coaching leads to increased effective communication, restructuring of culture in a business, um, employee retention, and employee morale. So we know that it's all good things, in addition to just having those coaches and those coaching conversations. We now into a little bit more specifics on Coactive as a company or a methodology. We are considered the gold standard in coaching throughout the industry. We're the oldest coaching company. We've been around for over 30 years. We have over 200,000 certified coaches worldwide, which is just amazing. That's a huge number of people. We also have about 300 faculty members who serve as our front of room leaders, our teachers for our courses, and they represent a huge global community. We've those 300 front of room leaders are from across the globe, and you are lucky enough you're going to get to meet and interact with a couple of them here very soon. The best way to learn more about coactive is definitely by showing, however. So, like I've already mentioned a couple times, that coactive magic. For the next portion of our webinar, I would love to invite our coaches back on camera, Jeff and Edwin, if you don't mind coming back and joining us. And they're going to share with you a little bit of that, that secret sauce that we talk about, what makes coactive coactive. And then one of you will actually get to be coached live on the webinar here today. So thank you so much, you guys. I'll be here. So take it away.
Thanks,
Great. And
Emily.
Jeff, we start off with sharing a little bit about ourselves as well.
Sounds good. You take it first, Edwin.
Oh, okay. I take the ball and go. Edwin Vega, calling in from California, in the United States. Used to live in New York City for about 17 years, but really excited to be here. I'm a faculty for CTI, both on the coaching program and also for their leadership program. I'm an ICF professional certified coach, which means I've taken all of CTI's 5 classes and their certification, and I've coached over 500 hours. Now I have about 1,500 hours of coaching now. I've been coaching for about 10 years. I coach leaders in biopharma and tech primarily, in groups and one-on-one, and lead retreats as well to help teams better connect, deal with conflict, and build trust. And then lastly, I coach in the nonprofit sector where I help coach adults learn how to coach children with executive function skills. So it's kind of a nice way to give back to communities and also to impact our youth, who I think the quicker we can get access to these skills, even better. I used to be a professional opera singer, so that's kind of the background I've come from, and was a really important part of my journey to becoming a coach because I was wanting more fulfillment. It was interesting traveling the world to sing, but I was missing out on a sense of drive and kind of a place to really put a heavy impact on impacting people's lives. And once I found Coactive, I knew it was the right place for me.
Edwin not only has amazing stories to tell about his entire depth and breadth of career, but can teach you how to harmonize, which I did not know how to do. And Edwin, your opera singing is so much more than that, but that was a lovely
Also, for
skill.
those listening, Jeff can also teach you how to speak Chinese, which he has taught me some as well. So there's kind of some great kind of availability here between both of us.
Jeff Jacobson, I live up in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. I began coaching in 1994. I was in grad school studying translation interpretation for Mandarin and English and joined a coach-like group. And that thrust me into the profession back when I did not even know it existed. And At that time, most folks asked me if I coached sports or Little League. The industry has completely changed over these last several decades. Now, whenever I have the chance to join a project or there's a chance for a new coaching direction, a lot of the folks in organizations will ask if I am certified, if I am accredited. Once again, that wasn't a case back in the 90s because the market has become so much more educated. Um, and with those slides that you got to see, you really could see where the personal coaching industry has changed, the niche areas, and then of course in corporate and executive coaching. I spend most of my time working with leaders, basically try to flatten out their leadership a little bit. You'll notice that today Edwin and I we'll do a lot of back and forth, kind of it's not scripted. And in a way, that's what a lot of coaching can do in organizations is to help leaders bring out their more human side and bring out the best in the people they're working with. I coach individuals, I coach groups, and do a lot of facilitation in organizations. Is that enough?
Good for now. And
I
then they
think
could probably
getting
learn
back
more
into
about us
them and
during Q&A as well.
yeah, getting back into them and you getting a chance to coach somebody today, I think is what we'd really like to see. Just a few things on designing our alliance, and then Edwin will dive in on a coaching session. Um, Edwin will not have coached this person before, so it's not scripted. It is live. It won't be confidential. Most of the time when we're doing coaching, it stays confidential, but this will be recorded. So that folks that weren't here can see it or that you can take it with you later.
And it's important what Jeff's highlighting. If you look at the top of the slide where it says designing our alliance, we're actually modeling what we do in coactive coaching. We actually take time to really design the relationship, how we'll be with each other in the context of the time that we're spending today. So even in our modeling here, it's really modeling what we do in coactive coaching. I would say the highlight of coactive coaching is that it's really real. It's very conversational in a way that's meaningful, not only what we want to get done, but who do we want to become. So we're trying to also model that here in our time today.
We're also modeling fashion because apparently we both got the memo that we were supposed to wear plaid. The other thing I'll add to this is we're going to ask whoever decides to be coached by Edwin to bring a real topic. It's why we're taking a little bit of time to create a safe and courageous container so that somebody can talk about something real in their lives rather than role play. So I think Edwin, we're looking for a volunteer.
Yeah, it'd be great to, if anyone's inspired and thinks that they would love to be the coaching demo, feel free to let us know. And then our tech host, our amazing tech host, will help us meet our new demo client here. And we'll be coaching for about 10 minutes or so.
I think Mercedes is doing the magic behind the scenes.
We're really appreciative of like what we call leaders behind, people who are really making this whole production run really smoothly. So thank you to Mercedes and the team.
Looks like we have somebody popping on the screen.
Great. Hello, welcome. Can you hear us? Is it Julian?
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Hey, welcome.
I'm going to hop off camera in just a moment so the two of you can get down to coaching. But what I'll say to the other folks is, of course, give all your great attention to Julian in terms of whatever they talk about during the session, but pay attention to what Edwin does, the skills he uses, some of the things you notice in his coaching, because we'll get a chance to talk about that afterwards. Julian, thanks for agreeing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Thanks so much. Well, Julian, nice to meet you. Anything that you need before we start our coaching time?
No, let's go right in.
Okay, great. Oh, I love it. Right in. Well, take me right in. What's something you're wanting some coaching in today?
Yeah, I think it's related to the reason I'm on this call, which is I've been in a corporate career for 30 years or a little bit less than that in different roles that don't really matter for the sake of this conversation, but I'm at a place where I want to explore a career pivot into something maybe like coaching or other avenues, right? And so there's an element of, how do I get started? How do I
Mm,
make such a transition? And either by taking a bunch of risks or by taking the safe route, like there's obviously different trails to take to get to where I want to be, which is doing work that is closer to my truth and being more meaningful, which you both talked about earlier.
Okay, so I kind of felt a lot of energy pick up when you said talking about my truth and the impact I'm wanting to make, and you're even smiling now. What pops up when you talk about what might be next for you in that realm?
Yeah, I've been interested in health and wellness coaching, and that's
Hmm.
really grounded in a personal journey that I've been on of making a lot of changes in my own life.
Hmm.
Somebody said to me a while ago that picking up running changed my life or saved my life, even. That's actually the word they use, right? So I started my health journey through running, which led me to lose a lot of weight, then to led me to drop alcohol, to change nutrition and all kinds of different things, and being able to manage anxiety in a different way, especially in high pressure leadership roles, which have been super useful. Right. And I got to a place where I was like, like sharing, not sharing the experience, but like being in a position where I can help people do something similar feels really
Hmm.
purposeful and meaningful to me.
Wow. And like what's the passion here for you? Like what's so important about this for you right now at this time in your life?
I think the passion is just doing impactful work
Hmm.
that is closer to something that means something to me, right?
Hmm.
It doesn't have to be necessarily health and wellness, but like this idea of, and I this there's this concept of serving that is at the center of it all, which I think maybe is sort of the nucleus of it all, like this need to serve.
Hmm. Yeah, so think about this need to serve. So imagine there were no circumstances in your way. Imagine like the winds were supporting you to really serve in a big way. And I even see you smiling. What's going on now as I say that with no circumstances?
It's this idea of like sort of fast forwarding to like enacting a vision for one, but then also um, this idea of like limitless, like sort of transcending self-limiting beliefs, maybe, or just yeah, stories that you tell
Good.
yourself about.
So
You're willing to do that,
limitless,
maybe.
transcending these beliefs, in any kind of way. Are you able to stand in the space that you're in currently?
I can stand, yeah.
Yeah, feel free to stand up. Because and as we stand up, think about we're stepping actually into this more limitless place, this place where there's a lot of possibility, there's going to be a lot of impact, and actually ground yourself. Good. And actually connect to the ground. Imagine the ground is giving you that energy that's going to allow you to be limitless. There you go. Yeah, even allow your body to settle. Imagine this energy is coming up to really give you the thing that you're most wanting here. And you talked about a vision looking ahead. Imagine that vision happening. Imagine you're creating the impact you're wanting to have. Imagine that impact is coming back to you and inspiring you. And then you take it back out to give it to others. Like you being on purpose. And feel free to speak to like, what are you noticing in this vision when we look ahead of what could be possible for you?
Yeah, the vision is seeing people transform themselves or seeing people transform through my help, through my service.
Yeah. And who are you becoming in the process of that? Imagine you're the one supporting that process. Who are you in that moment?
Mm. The first thing that came up is just a word that's attached to archetypes that I've been working on in a different context, which is like becoming a magician.
Ah,
Does that make sense? If you think about the king, warrior, lover, and magician archetypes, that's where my head goes.
yeah. And your hands keep going like this. Like if a magician's doing this, what would this kind of represent? Imagine, feel free to mirror it here. Like what would that represent here as a magician?
So like, yeah, bringing all the knowledge, all the wisdom, all the experiences, and turning it into something tangible for others.
Got it. Yeah. And I love this. Like there's an outstretch, like an offering. There's
Yeah,
something too. You mentioned servant, and being a servant seems important to you as
it
well.
is.
Yeah. What's important about being a servant to you?
I think it's about turning turning the script around from being self-centered to the opposite, right? Being more at the service of others, and yeah.
Yeah. And what's not being said about what we're exploring here? Even as you're standing there, I feel like there's something we're not talking about yet.
Mm, I don't know. I mean, maybe what's coming up as I was saying these words is sort of a reflection on where I've been, which maybe isn't where I wanted to be in the first place, but unaware of it all, right? And so,
Mm.
yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
like awareness to me is great, but it's also a burden sometimes.
Yeah, okay. I couldn't put it to words, but I was sensing a little bit of heaviness like in my shoulders as we were going. So what are some of the things you need to let go of actually to allow this vision to come through?
I think two things have come up, which I've mentioned before. One is self-limiting beliefs, maybe three, because I'll add one as I came up. Two is this idea, like I'm an engineer at heart, and so my thinking is very linear, right? And maybe that's something to let go of a little bit in order to take a path that maybe more meanders, be more
Mm.
creative outside the box thinking is kind of what I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about. And then also let go of adverse, maybe, well, I'm losing my words, but risk averse is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's letting some of that go. What parts of those things actually are helpful? Like imagine we were going to take a part of being an engineer that might be helpful so we can honor that part of you. What part might we take with us?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, the analytical part, right? And sort of, and the structured process part are probably two big parts.
Okay, great. So let's put our hand up to kind of represent that structured part. And how would that be helpful to us? Like in this journey for you and your vision, how will that be helpful?
To essentially sort of craft a plan, right, to get from where I am today to where I want to be, that also has flexibility, so it's not just like too narrow, I'll say.
Got it.
Yeah.
Good. And now take a step in the other direction just to kind of open up your stance here. There you go. And now in this other hand, if we're going to balance out this plan, what would we bring in that would be more in the risk averse or the risk kind of taking, more fun? What would be the other thing to balance that out so that you can stretch into?
I think it's giving space to a more playful and creative part of me.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Good. So move in a way that's more playful and creative, just right here even. Allow yourself no rules, just to move a little bit more playful and creatively. We're moving our hands here. You can even close your eyes if that helps you connect to the energy. But imagine being more playful and creative and just move your body in a way that just feels inspired to do that right now.
There's also this like fear of judgment, I guess, that's coming up.
Yeah, got it.
Performing, I guess, or
Yeah.
being in the limelight.
Right. And so in those moments, what's going to be important to remember to ground you when that voice naturally comes up? It's trying to help us, but what's going to remind you about getting back on purpose here to this more playful part of you?
Mm. Um, just what's coming up is the transition from old stories to new stories.
Yeah. What's the new story actually? Like, remind me, what's the new story that we're going to anchor in here as we're bringing the coaching to a close? What's the new
Yeah, I
story?
mean, the new story is like, sort of self-beliefs that are maybe outdated, right? That I can transcend to then enact this vision, and having the confidence that either I know enough or maybe I don't know enough to enact this vision or be in a role like this, but that there's a path towards that, right? That is achievable.
Yeah. So I don't have to know. And there's a path forward in
Yeah.
some kind of way. What would it be in your words that if you can anchor into a phrase that would help you into that new story?
Mm.
There you go. Moving's good for you. Allow yourself just to like be
Yeah.
relaxed and playful.
So this is funny because I have this tattoo on my arm, which you can't see, but it says LFG, which means let's fucking go, which is like that's the story. That's the answer to your question, I think, right? It's like this is my mantra.
Yeah, this is your mantra. Great. So for LFG, what's one thing you're going to do to make this real? Because we want the coaching to look forward and move towards this vision. What's one way to bring LFG to real life? What's one thing you'll do?
I do many things all the time, every day, just kind of in a slow burner, right? But I've been sort of on the edge of wanting to get training as a coach. And that's certainly something that is very actionable and that I can do.
Great. So by when do you want to kind of have a really grounded sense of signing up? Like, what's your kind of goal for that? What
Yeah,
date?
I mean, and this answer is going to be very much related to everything we've talked about, right? I'm out of work, I'm looking for work, I have free time, I can apply my free time to looking for work, which is the old story, or I can apply my free time to more of that, right? And so like shifting that thinking of maybe I don't need to spend 6 hours a day looking for work and getting rejected all day long, and maybe just
I know
doing.
that's about 10 minutes, then I'll hop off.
Thanks, Jeff. Good.
Yeah.
So let's make this concrete as we end here. How much time are you going to spend towards finding coaching? Like you, or there might be something here about like I want to play for 2 minutes, two times a week next week. I'm going to play for 30 minutes around this. What would be the thing that we could really look to? Like I will do this. What would that thing be?
I think it's deciding the style of coaching that I want to pursue and then just going for it.
Got it. And just going for it. And when you do that, what do you want to remember of what flavor you want to bring to it? We talked about this before. We talked about playful. What's the energy you want to bring to that?
Mm. Um, I want it to be a holistic thing.
Yeah. And your shoulders even went like this before you said that. Like, whew,
Yeah.
what's that mean?
I don't know.
Do it again and just see, just connect.
Yeah, struggling like this is like I'm struggling to answer your question. That's what it,
Okay.
but yeah, I want it to be something that's not too limiting. So I've been thinking about health and wellness as a path, but I find that to be too narrow. And
Yeah.
not that I couldn't go into a health and wellness specifically, because that's very interesting to me, but maybe start with something that's more general, uh,
Yeah.
and
Good.
then go pick, like, be more open to other possibilities, I guess.
Nice. And so what's the insight you're walking away from our time? We're going to wrap up the coaching here. It's just a little teaser, but just wondering, what are you walking away with that's different from where we started?
Hmm. Um, that I can just respond to the energy in a different way. Yeah,
Yeah. That might be your homework is like, oh, respond to the energy in a different way. Be more present as you honor this engineering and this great thing it's given you. But I'm imagining the more you lean into that, you're going to find a path that will present itself in the way that's just right for you.
absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. Great. Thanks so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Julian, thanks for not only raising your hand, but diving in on this coaching together with Edwin. And Edwin, thanks for diving in on doing this magical coaching with Julian. Uh,
Thanks.
we're going to ask the folks that were watching, of course, send some love and appreciation for what you saw Julian talk about, but we're really going to focus on what you noticed in this coaching that Edwin did. So I'll ask you a few questions, and you can go ahead and write down in chat what you noticed. And if you notice something that I didn't ask about, feel free to add that in too. Things like, how did Edwin start off the coaching? What did you notice him saying and doing, or what didn't he say and do? We'll point out some of those in just a moment, but we wanted to give you a chance to add in chat what you saw. I think everybody's probably furiously writing right now on their keyboards. Lots of attention to movement. Yeah, what do you notice in your shoulders? Stand up. Even I notice you sort of smile or use your hands. Edwin really honed in on that and asked about it. Joel wrote, interesting combination of tracking the body and coming to specific actionable items. When we're talking about this idea of coactive coaching, there's this, the co can represent a lot of exploration and really reporting back what you notice in the coachee, the person that you're coaching, in terms, in this case, Julian's movements or some areas where Julian got excited or maybe a little flat. Then also, how do we narrow it down into some next steps? Magda was appreciating the body language. Edwin, what else stood out to you as folks are writing in chat?
Yeah, inviting him to explore what feels new. In collective coaching, we really try to focus on the present moment. One of our cornerstones in coaching is dancing in this moment. And I think it's that thing that actually makes collective coaches really special in how they interact with their clients. There's a sense that we're most present to what's happening right now. We're in the present moment. And when we're present, we can actually create something new. So, as a coach, that's important for me to kind of bring the client's awareness to what's happening right now in this moment. It may be through the body, which showed up a lot in this coaching, but even in simple expressions, gestures, the tone of voice, and how that impacts the coaching.
Additionally, Miriam had added in gentle and encouraging. I mean, I know this may sound obvious, but it's important to point out because we see lots of different models out there. Edwin didn't say, well, that's not going to happen, or good luck with that.
Well, you've been
Really,
an engineer for too long. That's going to take you a long time to transit. No.
in a way, I think about it, plenty of people are willing to say that to Julian anyway, right? A lot of us have some of the naysayers in our lives. That is not the role of coach. Edwin was listening for those things that really brought Julian meaning. And didn't notice there was something that you said. Oh, when Julian was talking about the magician, do you notice that Edwin didn't go, oh, I know what that is? Of course, we all know what the magician is, but got curious about what it meant for Julian. That's a lot of the power of coaching is what do you notice is important for your coachee and to underline it and then ask them what they want to do with that. Anything else you'd add? Where we're headed in a moment is to talk a little bit more about coaching and a little bit more about CTI. But anything else, folks, you'd want to add about this demo that you saw?
Yeah, I'll add in here too. I think you probably noticed there's not a heavy attention, especially initially and during, on problem solving.
Yeah.
What have you done? What could have you done? What will you do next at the very beginning of the coaching? We actually believe in collective coaching. We build a lot of resonance and exploration, and that typically will deepen the person's connection to what they need to do next or what energy they need to embody next so that they can be more creative and fun, let's say, in this particular experience going forward.
Nothing wrong with problem solving in general. What's the issue? What are you going to do about it? That being said, most of us have that all the time, and it isn't necessarily special or different. But if you can build the resonance as a coach, like Edwin is talking about, we use this ratio, we call it 10-80-10. And what we really mean is you spend about 10% of the time finding out what the coachee wants, what their topic is, and what might be missing. The last 10% might be great. What are you going to do about it? What's next? Edwin helped Julian come up with either a clear next step or a thing to notice. That 80% is exploring it in a way that the coachee hasn't before, based on what's happening now and where they'd like to go, and building a lot of that vision. So we play with this 10-80-10 to really make it a different conversation than what most of us have.
Yeah, and I'm seeing Steven's putting here in the chat, like in a follow-up meeting with your client, what would you focus on? Typically first, in that 10% initially is like, hey, what did you do as a result of our last coaching? You've said you're going to focus a little bit more being creative, risky a little bit, find a program. What's happened? And then out of that, what's next for us in this conversation? It'd be the client may say, hey, I want to continue. I actually need to work on this negative voice I have around doing that. Great, let's go in. Or they may bring in a different topic. So we're really relying on the client to drive the experience. It's almost like I'm guiding, they're leading. So imagine we're in a cave, I'm just flashing my flashlight. They kind of point us in a direction to go.
Joel was actually drawn to when you said there's something here we're not maybe talking about, and maybe some grief and some sadness. Yeah. Um, and Joel, a thing to consider is Edwin was using his intuition in that moment. Here's my sense of what's going on. I'm wondering if this is something that's happening here. And notice that Edwin brought it up without being attached, gave Julian a chance to think about it, have some responses. If Julian had said, nope, there's nothing here at all, Edwin would have said, okay, glad I checked. Let's move on.
Yeah, and just so for folks know where I was going, in my head, I was like, I don't know what to ask. I was like, and I was feeling it in my body. I was like, oh, I'm
Shoulders.
feeling something in my body. So I was
Yeah.
like, hey, I feel like we're not saying something. I didn't know what the thing was. And then I was giving space to allow him to answer. So silence was also a skill we use to allow whatever to emerge. But the intuition is something as a coach, we can sense something. We don't have to know what it is because we're in partnership with our clients in coaching.
You didn't see it. It's kind of hard to see because they're on screen facing each other, but the image I like to use when coaching is as Edwin said, your partnership. You're standing shoulder to shoulder. Edwin's not the expert in Julian's life, but is also not maybe just a, I don't know, a micromanager of his life either. Shoulder to shoulder, and that gives you a chance to both bring up what you notice in the process and then make sure that Julian's the final decision maker or the arbiter of what it all means.
Nice highlighting there, Joel. Thanks for reminding us of that moment. That was a moment that kind of stands out in that way.
Yeah, and a keen observation, as Julian is saying. Of course, I'd actually like to spend the next 4 hours coaching all of you and just diving into everything that you're interested in. But for today's focus, we're going to bring this coaching demo to a close and take the next steps. Edwin, thanks for being such a masterful coach. And Julian,
Oh, thanks so much. Thank you, Jeff, for the support. And thank you, Julian, for really being a gift to the class as well.
some hands coming up and clapping emojis.
You guys are just outstanding. You know that?
It's the
Can
plaid.
we, maybe. Can we take a moment and show some gratitude? Like, I know Julian, wow, the bravery. I was sitting here, waiting in the wings, as I call it, and I was getting goosebumps. I had to like fasten my sweater. It's like, this is so powerful and I love it. I was chatting with Jeff privately. I was like, I don't want them to stop. I want them to keep going.
Hmm.
Yeah, I loved it. So thank you. Oh, what did Julian say? I felt, oh, awesome. Awesome. So thank you so much. And to the coaches, Edwin and Jeff, amazing. I say it every single time. It's magic. And I adore what you do. So thank you.
I also
Thanks,
Thanks,
really
guys.
guys.
appreciated the keen observation of the folks watching and really noticing and making discernment.
Right? Thank you, Jeff, for calling that out before we began with the demo portion. You said, like, now, of course, you're going to listen to Julian, but please watch what Edwin is doing. And just that quick mention, I mean, I feel like their eyes and ears were just on. And so some
Mhm.
of the comments coming through to the chat, like you guys are in the right place. You're in the right spot. Awesome. Well, thanks you guys. If you want to hop off camera for a little bit, I'm going to share my screen again and we'll kind of keep moving with a little more information about coactive and the coaching pathway. But don't worry, they'll be back. They'll be back here in a little bit. We'll try to reserve some time for question and answer here in a bit. As we go on to some testimonials from graduates of our coach training program, I also want to point out that several of the slides have a QR code in the bottom. So if you hadn't noticed that already, take a moment, draw your eye there. And you can scan that if you'd like to get more detailed information. If you want to sign up for a time to speak one-on-one with an advisor, ask some really specific questions, maybe that pertain to your life, your calendar, scheduling, pacing, cost, all of those things. We are happy to talk to you. We have a whole team that's here and ready to talk to you. So now for some testimonials. I love these. I call myself a very like warm and fuzzy kind of person. So hearing this kind of feedback is really great. It says, the first one on your screen says, through CTI, I went from wanting to be a coach to being a trained and certified coactive coach. So just respecting and acknowledging the difference of being a coach to being a coactive coach, really leaning into our methodology, our techniques and strategies. I think that's important. The next one says, I have the confidence to go out and change the world. Who doesn't want to feel that way? That's incredible. And then the last one says, the CTI fundamentals course was the thing I needed to affirm that I am made to be a coach. And I will say, when I came out of the fundamentals course myself, I think transformed is really the only appropriate word for it. I felt like I was able to lean into some things that I maybe knew or had been doing, but had names for those things. I felt like I was really leaning into my power when I was in and coming out of that fundamentals course. So I would encourage you to do the same. I hope you have the experience. On that note, let's talk about the pathway. How do we get you there? How do we get you to be a coach? First and foremost is our first course. It's called the Fundamentals of Coaching, and it's 2.5 days long. It's most of our opportunities are virtual, but we do have a few in-person opportunities. If you'd like to talk to somebody on the team about those, again, you can scan that QR code and sign up for a time that's convenient for you. Our second stage of the coaching pathway is what we call our intermediate coaching program. It says there that it takes 4 months. I would put a little asterisk by that. The 4 months is a typical cadence. It does not have to be done over 4 months. That stage 2 is comprised of 4 courses that are each 3 days long. We offer those those courses on weekdays, but also weekends in a variety of time zones. So we really emphasize and lean into the fact that we are an adult education program. So we try to offer not only a lot of opportunities, but also a lot of flexibility. So again, you can speed that up or slow it down as you need, and you can talk to your advisor about that when it comes time to schedule. And then lastly, stage 3 is our actual certification program. This is a 25-week endeavor where you will meet once a week on a 90-minute Zoom call. And then outside of those times, you'll have assignments that you're working on, and you're logging your 100 hours that you need for coach certification. So again, a lot of flexibility, a lot of opportunity, and we try to make the program available to everyone. I do want to note that our first course, Fundamentals, does include a money-back guarantee. So in case you are nervous about taking the plunge, getting started, there is a money-back guarantee in place for the first course called Fundamentals. Now, why would you choose to be a certified professional coactive coach, or a CPCC as we call it? Well, first and foremost, it's a very rigorous certification program. We are recognized as one of the industry's most comprehensive programs. We are fully accredited by the ICF, which is the International Coaching Federation. We are a level 2 training, which means that completion will qualify you to apply for the ICF Associate Certified Coach or Professional Certified Coach credential when you're complete with all the requirements of our program. And also, you get to learn from a global faculty, like I've mentioned. These folks have dedicated their lives to the application and mastery of this craft. So you get to learn from 2 front of room leaders in every course that you take who represent this global faculty of professionals. On that note, let's talk a little bit about a bundling opportunity that we have available. So I know everyone on the call is probably wondering, so what does this program cost and how do I get into it? How do I make this doable for me? So first of all, on the left-hand side, you'll see kind of the breakdown in pricing if you were to purchase in more of an a la carte fashion. So if you wanted to just sign up for Fundamentals, it's $1,100 for the 2.5-day course online. That intermediate bundle that we speak of is $6,900 for those 4 3-day courses, like I mentioned. And then the 25-week or 6-month certification program is $6,500. However, if you look on the right-hand side of your screen, you can see some bundling options that will save you a little bit of money. So if you register for Fundamentals and the intermediate bundle, you will be at $8,000. But if you register for the full pathway, so all the way through Fundamentals through certification, you will come in at $13,750. So you'll take some money off the top by signing up for the full program all at once. And then if you take a look at the bottom left corner of your screen, you'll see that we have a 0% interest payment opportunity for bundled purchases. So we can get you set up on a 10-month installment plan with 0 interest added. In my opinion, that's the best bang for your buck because it's like purchasing a la carte, but you get the savings of purchasing the full pathway, but still only paying about 1 course a month, give or take. All right, this brings us to my favorite portion of every webinar. This is where we really get to lean in and ask you what questions you have. If you don't mind, I would love for you to take any questions you've been holding on to throughout the presentation today. Go to that bottom center portion of your screen where it says Q&A and just start typing them there. These can be big questions, small questions, things that are specific to you or more general in nature. I'll invite Edwin and Jeff to come back on camera with me, and we'll tackle any questions that you may have. This would also be a great time, hey guys, to scan that QR code, get signed up. If you've got your calendar handy, you can sign up for a call with an advisor. But we would love to know what burning questions are left. We've gone through a lot of information in only 44 minutes and a coaching demo. I'm sure there's something that you would love to know, and we're here for it. Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me.
You bet.
Yeah, and I think there's probably a specific question for you, Emily. How much would it be a month to get the full certification bundle?
Absolutely. So when we take that $13,750 and we put you on that monthly installment plan, it brings it to $1375 per month for 10 months. And again, no interest added. So
Lauren's asking, how do coaches typically find clients for their initial 100 hours? Also, great question. Networks, friends of friends, also really focusing on, like we heard during the demo, the niches that you're interested in. So going to gentle networking meetings, finding gatekeepers in different communities that are really well connected. The main thing we recommend is that you don't coach people that are too close to you. That makes it really hard to stay objective. So one of the founders of CTI used to say, anybody within a 3 or 4 foot range, as you're walking out in your life, could be a potential client.
I
Edwin,
love that.
yeah, anything to add?
Yeah, well, and maybe Jana's asking, what does the in-class time look like? During the classes, when you're practicing a lot of coaching. So just by the nature of that, then you're kind of building a sense of referral network. Like you coach someone, they get a sense of your coaching, they now can refer you to others who can potentially be clients. As a part of the process in class too, you're going to be coaching people for homework in between the classes. So at the end of day 2, before your the third day of class, you're coaching someone out in the world. So you're going to be actually practicing one, creating clients. Also in the certification program, CTA provides a couple opportunities to support you with different ways of creating clients through that experience as well. Uh, Jeff, what does the in-class time look like? I mean, there are 3 days of a really experiential learning. You'll see as well that each class has 2 front-of-room leaders, just like you had today. We had 2 leaders here co-leading. We have an outline, but not really a script. We're really creating from the moment to really center your specific needs of the class through what we're trying to teach you. It's highly engaging. You're in breakouts a lot, coaching each other, observing people coaching the front of room leaders. They're providing demos for you. I would say it's highly interactive.
I always like to know when the breaks are, and our rule of thumb is we go usually for about an hour and a half of either theory or a lot of practice, like Edwin said, and practicing with each other in live demos, and then you get breaks because we've certainly learned that our bodies and minds work better and our hearts work better when there's some downtime. Somebody was asking, Jonathan was asking about really enjoying in your leadership roles the moments where you could take care of your team and help people grow. Is this a good indicator of whether or not you're drawn to coaching or you'd be good at it, which is, I think, is kind of the synthesis of your question? Absolutely. Um, Honestly, and I don't mean to sound glib, over the years, the only people that I think really have tried coaching that are not that may not make great coaches are folks that are not interested in other people or watching them grow. But most of us that are drawn to this are drawn to it because we do enjoy helping being a catalyst for someone in their own personal and professional growth. I think that is a great way to consider, um, uh, being drawn to it and just your own abilities.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
Jonathan, the more we can have leaders who are actually bringing collective coaching skills into the workplace, it's revolutionary. I mean, they learn that they can coach someone in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You don't need to set aside 30, 60 minutes. It changes internally, and then all of a sudden you create a coaching culture. That's typically my main objective when I'm coaching someone who works at an organization. How do I coach them so that they become more coach-like to support each other at the organization?
Most people actually want to do it, and due to organizational structure or habits or just the way things are, it's hard to sometimes step out of that, and that's the catalyst that coaching can bring.
And Santiago is asking, when comparing programs, what would you say is the biggest difference value in the collective model of coaching? I'll first say, when you look at the model, there are 3 principles in how we coach. Fulfillment is about what do you long for? How do you not only focus on what you do, but who do you want to become? It's about your values. It's about your relationship to that inner critical voice that we all have. Uh, Balance is about being in choice, and actually from a place of empowered choice, how do we actually create powerfully from different options in our life and create the dream we want? The last class is where I feel like it really differentiates, and it's called process. It's really about how do we help our clients process their emotions in the current moment. So we don't go back to the past like a therapist, a trained therapist would, where we know we're not therapists. But in process coaching, you learn how to coach the present moment emotional experience of the client. And I find that to be really revolutionary for coaches because it makes them so present to what's going on. That question of, I feel like we're not saying something or something's not being spoken in the coaching, that was a very much process like coaching experience, speaking to what's happening in the present moment.
What I appreciate about that, sometimes I think about the market and people say, well, don't bring your emotions to work or let's don't get emotional. Just a reminder, emotions can drive us all the time. And coactive coaching has the courage to say, let's at least bring that forward and make sure that you get a chance to look at it so you can use that in your decision-making process rather than shove it off to the side and then run around tight and clamp down, which unfortunately
Uh, s-
many of us have experienced.
since you guys are touching on the three main principles, would you mind speaking a little bit to synergy?
You bet.
Ah, yes.
So if the intro course is called Fundamentals, those three things that we focus on the model that Edwin just mentioned just happen to be three of the four intermediate courses, Fulfillment, Balance, and Process, or Process, depending on where you are in the world. Synergy is the last course that actually gives you a chance to put them all together. In a way, it's like the previous courses, you're really practicing the scales. Edwin, if I go off on
Bum, 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 bum.
but synergy is a chance to say, how do you put those together and really let you improv in this conversation with someone and make sure that you find your style rather than do something cookie cutter by the book or copy what you saw other people do in class. Because that authentic approach where you can really pay attention to your coaching and improv, we find is important and not always easy to do when you've just been going through all these courses.
It's really
Thank you.
if we see yourself as the instrument for coaching, that course amplifies the instrument of coaching for you. What is the full range of how you show up so that there's a unique way of how you do coactive coaching that's really special to you and who you're serving.
I know a few people honed in on Edwin mentioning that, hey, what's not being spoken now? Edwin did it in his way. You would have your own way to do that. We would suggest that you use your intuition, but what's your flavor of it?
I love that, the flavor. That's a really good way to put it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Somebody in the Q&A asked, does the curriculum include ways to build your business? And that's a question I get a lot. Folks will say, like, I'm really into coaching, but I don't know anything about running a business. Are you going to teach me that? How do I figure that out? I can speak a little bit to that. I know that we have a six-part business building webinar series. That was a mouthful. But I wasn't sure if you had any more that you could add to that.
Yeah, in the classes, a part of each class, there's a Q&A. So you're having a live conversation where you get to ask explicit questions, whatever you have about the coaching industry, coaching business. I find that to be really helpful to learn about like what people charge, why do they charge the way they charge, where are they creating their clients, what industries they're working in, what are the nuances of that, what kind of instruments, like 360 instruments, do they use within organizations. So I love that part because it's very live in the moment, and you're probably getting a sense of what's going on in the coaching industry right then and there. So that I find to be really valuable. Each class has a Q&A as a part of it as well in person.
And that six-part business building webinar that Emily was talking about is a chance to look at what are the standards to pay attention to when you're building a business, as well as how can you personalize that for yourself. So both what works well in general, what works well for you. And in the certification program, you will be with a pod, we call them pods, same 9 people throughout that whole program. And part of that also includes networking. There's some great rules and best practices out there, but many times it's the folks that you talk with, whether it's your co-leaders or your fellow certification students, who can say, this is something that helped me land a contract at an organization or really broaden my own personal practice.
I would
Awesome.
say that like coactive really, I mean, when we really, I've met other coaches at other schools. I've taken training from coaching from other coaches at other schools. Some of them are really great, but the CTI, the standard of coaching is so high, like the highest bars of highest bars. I'm telling you, like when I really look at the training, and I've continued training, I've done group coach training, team training, emotional freedom technique, great experiences, but the level of training at CTI just hit something that not only will help you professionally develop these skills, but also personally develop on steroids. Like it's a really advanced way of growing.
Mostly because of that safe and inviting container we create, and then we have so much practice. And that's the thing that really seems.
Let's see. I've got another couple of questions here. One says, does Coactive offer free coaching with current students who might need practice coaching hours? If so, where could I sign up to be that person? I can speak to a course that we just started offering where you can actually purchase a bundle of coach practice sessions. I realize that may not be specifically what you're asking, but do you guys know of any opportunities where folks are looking for coaching, like practice clients?
No, I think the best way to try to find out someone who might be related to coactive, and they could probably advocate to find you someone who is looking for that experience. It's a little bit closed in that way. But I just actually joined a community council, so I will write this as a thing because I think this used to exist in the past, and I know some coaching schools do this. So, Joel, I will take this forward, maybe to see what the council can create from that as well.
Thank you. And then we've got another question here. It says, does the coactive coaching program take into account possible cultural or language differences and how those would translate to coaching from across the world?
It does. And thanks for bringing that up, Jonathan. One of the things to consider is our coaching model is really a set of guideposts or guidelines that can help a coach walk a coachee through a coaching conversation. And in that process, there's a lot of room for both the coach and the coachee to bring in their own cultural backgrounds. Edwin highlighted the Designed Alliance at the beginning of this call today, and that's something that you and your coachee do at the beginning of a coaching session that includes what is important in terms of your language background, your coaching background, and how do we bring that in to make sure that it supports you or move any obstacles that would get in the way. And Emily mentioned at the beginning of this just the international scope of CTI. Um, One of the things I love about it is so many people come at it from different coaching angles and cultural angles, and the coaching model supports that rather than blocks that out. I helped to grow the coaching model, the collective coaching model in China. And I remember on one of the first days we were doing a training and we introduced the model, someone stood up and said, "This is just like traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, where you're helping the system, in this case the coachee, find their own answers." In a way I knew that, and in a way I'd never thought about that, but the theory and the model really holds space for that. So people are able to inject their own cultural understanding.
And Jeff is bringing up leading in China. So we actually have partners around the world. There's a partnership in Mexico. So sometimes they'll offer those classes. Those typically are taught only in Spanish. So that might be a thing as well. Also, Coactive has been translated in a number of languages. And so I know for sure Spanish, French, and Italian, I think, and maybe even German have had our materials translated as well. So that may also help for people who deliver coaching in different languages as well.
Sorry, Chinese, Japanese, and Korean too.
Hey, all right.
Look at you guys go. Awesome. Well, if anyone has any remaining questions, please go ahead and drop them in the Q&A. In the meantime, as we wait for maybe one or two more, I would love to wrap up with just some gratitude. I want to shout out again, please, thank you so much to all of you for taking the time from your day to join us. We can't do it without you. Shout out to Mercedes behind the scenes. Thank you so much for keeping us running smoothly today. To Julian and your bravery. We really couldn't have done it without you. So thanks so much. Jeff and Edwin, you guys bring the magic. You're awesome. And I appreciate you both so, so much. To our attendees today, as soon as the webinar ends here in a couple of moments, you will receive a survey. If you have the time in your day to fill it out, we really genuinely appreciate that feedback. We read every single one. So if you don't mind filling it out, we are very grateful for that. Last but not least, I'm going to throw the slide back up again. If you don't mind scanning that QR code, again, we're here. We want to talk to you. We want to hear about your journey. We want to know how we can help you. Even if you end up going with something that's not coactive, we're definitely here to support you in any way that we possibly can. So please do reach out. We're here for it. And other than that, if we don't have any additional questions, I'll check one more time. Nope, doesn't look like it. All right, cool.
Was
Well,
putting in the
thanks.
chat box, Coactive Coaching book is another way to get to learn about Coactive. Phenomenal book. I
Yes.
read the book and signed up for all the classes. I hadn't even seen a webinar. So now they have webinars, which is amazing.
Oh, yeah. And if you haven't, on the same page where you would have signed up for this one, there's additional webinar about certification, specifically that 25-week program. So if you want to get really into the weeds on all those details, sign up for that one too. We'll see you on the next one. And again, just thank you so much. Be well. Wherever you are in the world, please be well. And we hope to talk to you very soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.